Yes, everybody, welcome for joining us. I think I've got audio here. 1 second. Right, you should have me now, I think. And I think I just need to quickly change it. Apologies, using a different camera. What was it under? It is, nope. Right, that should now work. Apologies for the delay. Thank you guys for joining us. We are talking about Jadon Sancho. Get your comments in and all the rest of that sort of stuff. I know the sound. Relax. We knew. Righty. So, Jadon Sancho, Manchester United. Headline that we're going with is agreement reached. That's the word that some people are putting out there. We'll get into some stuff a little bit. Later on in terms of what I know, but let's go in terms of what's being reported as we stand right now then. So, Jadon Sancho, agreement reached. Who the hell is saying that then? I'll tell you who's saying that. It is. As my shit don't load. Right, according to The Sun, sorry, but they are. Jadon Sancho is excited by the prospect of joining Manchester United, and he's said to be unconcerned that he may have to wait for trophy success. Dortmund won't stand in Sancho's way if he wants to seal a move this summer, is what The Sun are saying. The Sport are saying Manchester United have reached an agreement to sign Jadon Sancho, according to stunning reports in Spain. Catalan newspaper Sport claim that United have won the race for Dortmund's star's signature. Any official announcement is not expected anytime soon, but the report should be accurate, is how they're saying it. Daily Mirror are saying Liverpool have pulled out of the race to sign Sancho, leaving United and Chelsea as the two Premier League clubs interested in the fielder. And German journalist Raphael Honigstein, who I'm going to try and get on the podcast as well, United can't promise titles to Sancho straight away, but they can promise him to be the leading star in a new team that is emerging. From what I've been told, it's quite appealing to him. Right, so let's get into the sort of stuff we already knew. Now, obviously, over the last few weeks, we've been pushing my Patreon group quite hard. And the reason for that is that we want to be able to keep hold of all of our staff, unlike Liverpool. We won't be taking any of the government money. And one of the reasons for that is we would have to stop making content if we did that. And we don't want to stop making content. One, we'd go insane and out of boredom. And two, we think you guys would miss it. So we want to keep making the content. To do that, we've got a target of 1,500 Patrons to get us there. Now, yes, you can help us if you just want to see the channel going through while we've lost our sponsorship deals because of the virus, or you can get some of the inside information like this. So this is back in March. Sancho news. I think it may have moved into properly happening territory, and I reckon Sancho thinks he's coming. I still only put it at 90% as I've been burnt before when the club has had 2 targets, so without knowing if we're talking to multiple right-wingers, I'd only put this in the extremely likely and not certain to happen bracket. Now, some of you know, will know the reasons why with some of that. There's a lot of local connection to Jadon. There's a lot of people in Manchester who know him, that are friendly with him, and there's a lot of reasons why leaks like this are getting back to people in Manchester. Jadon is allegedly, through people that I know, acting as if the move to Manchester United is happening. So all of these dominoes that we're seeing falling, Dortmund won't stand in his way. Liverpool pull out of the deal. Manchester United can't promise this, but they can promise X. That's the sort of stuff when we have one slice of the pizza or 2 slices of the pizza of what could happen, filling in the rest of it is what you need the other journalists for. People coming out like Sport and saying that there's agreement been reached. I couldn't tell you that. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard those sort of definite things. And sometimes an agreement can be reached and a player's still not signed. I know that we had reached an agreement with Morata, and then the day after we announced the signing of Lukaku. It ain't done until it's done. And I know it's a bullshit attitude to be like, until they're standing there on the pitch with the shirt on. Because even that with Obi Mikel, we saw that actually wasn't the case, and he signed for Chelsea about 3 days later. sometimes you get burnt like that, and sometimes that's an issue. There's lots of other stuff in the Sancho picture if you would like to come and check out the Patreon group. Like I said, the link for that is in the bottom. We're on like just over 1,100, like 1,150. We're aiming to 1,500. If we get to 1,500, we won't have to release anybody in our own window. And we can keep going all the way through this. There's loads of inside info in terms of contracts, especially youth contracts, get pretty much all of those. And obviously what's going on with Sancho. And there's also been, although, is it out of date now? I don't know. There was some Grealish stuff in there. There's been a couple of Grealish drops in there as well. So if you fancy it, check it out. The link will give you the rundown on all the sort of stuff that you get, and then make a decision what you want to do about it. But from my point of view, if I had to say, do I think this is happening or not, I would say, yeah, I think it is. I think Sancho's someone that wants to come back to Manchester. I think the link with Chelsea, when people are saying that what they can offer him is to be a leading star in a new team, I think that's sort of giving you the indication Chelsea can't do that. They've got Hudson-Odoi, they've got Pulisic, they've got now the kid that they just signed from Ajax. They've got players in positions that are potentially going to be competing with him. United don't. United have got quite a few players that line up on the left-hand side, and if we bring Grealish in, there's potentially another one that can line up on the left-hand side. That right-hand side doesn't have anybody. United are crying out for another number 7. We're crying out for a superstar. United are crying out for building an English talent-based team. I'm not sure the reasons behind that, but clearly that's a direction that we're going in. So I think there's a lot in this with Jadon, and I'd be absolutely fucking buzzing. I've been talking about him for at least 4 years, I would think. Maybe even 5. The kid is fucking ridiculously good. Absolutely mint. I mean, get your questions in the chat, and we'll try and pick some of those up. Jay says, fuck Grealish, is overrated as fuck. Until it's official, then I'll believe it, says Abdullah. What's my views on Sarr from Watford? Yeah, ZH, that was it. Totally slipped my mind. Rashford, Fernandes, Sancho, Marshall, that's mouthwatering. You're not wrong. Hope you agree. A fee with Asda for a bottle of Morgan's. I got this new one today. If you guys can see it. Shot. It's just behind the thing. Yeah, you can't see it. It's just that fella today. Looks like it's pot, doesn't it? But it's plastic. So, still a cool looking bottle though. Apparently it's not the tastiest rum ever, but I will be digging into it on Saturday on the rundown if you want to come and join us. Shoot Neutrality says, I think Pogba stays. Well, we'll be getting onto him, well, fucking now, actually. Actually, it won't be. We'll talk about Dembele first. Right then, so Dembele, what is going on? 16 goals in 27 French top-flight matches this season. L'Equipe have gone quite strong on it, and they're saying it's believed Dembele could cost any potential suitor in the region of £60 million, and that the French outfit are expecting numerous offers for their star. United and Chelsea are the ones that were linked. Apparently remains a top target for United and Chelsea. The 23-year-old was a key target for both clubs during the window, with the Blues having had a £33.6 million offer turned down in January. That's interesting, isn't it? That's a low ball bid, actually. 33 million. That doesn't feel like how much he's worth for someone that is scoring pretty regular. Chelsea obviously needed a striker. Clearly weren't desperate enough to be saying, you know, any more than that. But very interesting. I do think that the way that I think Ollie's trying to play, I do think that he fits that system quite well. Why am I wearing headphones? I'm not listening to anything. I was watching a video before and fucking take them off. I actually do think he's a decent option. Is he better than Tony Marshall? No, but he's different. And I honestly, like I've said all season, I've got a gut feeling that I think Solskjaer wants to move on from Marshall, and Marshall FC don't like it. I'm just being fucking honest with you guys. I don't, not dissing the guy as a player. I think he's a fucking great player. I think he could go somewhere and absolutely kill it. I just think Solskjaer wants a different style number 9. The evidence for that? Well, he's been trying to sign number 9s. How about that for fucking evidence for it? That's my gut instinct that I feel like he wants something different out of his number 9. But anyway, Dembele, what's your thoughts on Dembele? Again, I haven't heard anything about Dembele. I do like him though, and in my head I can see. I just don't know if he's got the quality to do it at United. That's the question mark that I've got for him. Yeah. The focus, is it out of focus? Is it gone out of focus since I moved? It should be on auto. Yeah, that's my thoughts. It is really like, I think he wants someone different, and I think that potentially he probably fits the bill like that one, I reckon. Could I do a video on the football books I recommend? Yeah, probably. I could probably do 5 things. Gonna five football books to get you through the lockdown. Should we do that? We've got 1,300 watching. If we get 500 likes, we're already just under 200. You're, yeah. Do that. Give us 500 likes if you would like a 5 books to get you through lockdown for me to do. That'd be alright, wouldn't it? The camera keeps focusing on the room. Do you know why? Because it looks like a face. Let's move. What did I think of Sancho when I saw him as a City youth? I think I did videos at the time, didn't I? He's the sort of player that made you hold your breath. Because you knew when it got to him in the final third, the guy was a dead-eye killer. Something was going to happen. He was either going to bring somebody else in, or he was going to go make something happen himself. He's always been absolutely mint. So you always thought, this is a potential that could just go bananas here. When he went to Dortmund, I thought he would do well. I didn't actually anticipate him doing anywhere near as well as he has done, which has literally been like the best teenager in world football. So I definitely didn't expect that. I do think, yeah, I think if he came back to Manchester now, after 2.5 years of killing it for Dortmund, I think he'd do very well for United. I really do. And I think that makes a massive impact in United's confidence. And it's starting to build that team where you go, who do we mark? Because there's loads of killers in here that could really fucking do us, I think. So I like the idea of that. And Old School Gamer says you've been talking about Sancho for at least 5 years, I can remember. Yeah, it feels like it, to be honest. Righty. So that's Dembele. Let's talk a little bit about some of the outs. Paul Pogba. You think we was getting through a video about talking about Pogba, especially a transfer video? Off your head. Right, according to AS, Real Madrid are confident that the players' representatives that he would rather join the Bernabeu this summer. I think everyone kind of guessed that one, didn't they? And having reserved the required 3 years at United, Pogba could enact Article 17 of the FIFA rules, which allows a player to buy out his contract and terminate it with immediate effect, expected to cost around 50 to 60 million. Now, if we want 100 million for him, which is what he's worth, then I honestly think that there's a very real chance that they could do that. To save 40, 50 million, if you're Real Madrid, you'd be like, yeah, no problem, mate. There's the cash. How much did you sign on bonus? Oh, yeah, it just happened to be 60 million euros. Pogba and his representatives are not currently looking to take such drastic action by burning bridges in a manner and will move away far from a certainty. But the option has been considered. Fucking, I swear to God. Like, if he ends up doing that, honestly, you just got to go, what the fuck is it all about? What does he want? And what is it all about? Because this takes the piss, doesn't it? Like, he's had a team try to be built around him. He's been pandered to. He's been allowed to take the penalties. And what thanks do you get? You get no thanks from him. No, it is what it is. It's a fucking nightmare. And honestly, I'd be well happier seeing him go at the stage that he's got to at the moment. Just fucking piss take. Did he actually say he wants to leave? No. He actually has said he wants a new challenge. He's been fairly smart, but lad, you've got to take into consideration his agent constantly talking about him wanting to leave. His brother constantly talking about him wanting to leave. Do you think they're not doing that with his either blessing or instruction? They're not just bumping their gums for the sake of it and just going, fuck it. Whoever. Like, they're doing it because he wants them to do it. It's as simple as that. If a player doesn't want, like, I know quite a few agents, right? And I know that any of them, if they spoke on behalf of their player and it was against what that player wanted, they'd find themselves probably sacked or very, very likely in the shit. So, and they'd probably have to come out and say, oh, that was wrong or something like that. Camera focus is going to go. Stare at it. Oh, is it fixed? Sorry, it's on autofocus because I can't focus myself up in here. Why do we never give Pogba the benefit of the doubt? We have given him the benefit of the doubt loads of times. What are you on about? Jesus, look at the state of the comments that are coming out. If he had any shred of wanting to stay at this football club, those things don't come out. It's bullshit. Raiola's got several clients that don't do that. Oh, it's gone again. You know, I'm going to have to keep staring at the camera. Every time I look at the fucking the screen over here, it's going to unfocus it. The proper stare the camera out. Right, let's go on the last one that we was going to talk about then, which is Jesse Lingardinho. In the Metro, is what it is. Jesse Lingard has been linked with Arsenal ahead of the transfer window. United slapped a £30 million price tag on him amid the interest from Arsenal. The 27-year-old is desperate to become a big part of Solskjaer's first team plans going forward, and he's desperate to stay, but his hand might be forced. And Arsenal, who are looking for a replacement for Ceballos, a loan expires, looks to be the first in the queue. When did Arsenal become cast-off FC? When did Arsenal become cast-off FC? Howson seems anti-French. Like two of my favourite players that have ever played for this football club, Cantona and Evra. Why would I be anti-French? Jesus Christ. I think some of you lot just decide to hear what you want and then roll with it, despite the evidence to the contrary. Jesse, I don't think he's a first-team player. I don't think anyone's sitting here saying, yes, you are going to play 35-plus games a season. I don't think that's the case. It looks like his confidence is completely fucking shot. I don't think you're going to get to the stage where he's even as useful as what he was 2 years ago for us. And I think he probably does have to move on. At 27, I'd go and get a contract somewhere that's going to actually play on a regular basis. Otherwise, he's going to end up with a career where he's played not even a couple of 100 games, I would imagine. Jesse, if he stayed, obviously we don't know what's going to happen with Angel, but you can't justify starting him over Angel. You can't really justify starting him over Juan Mata. I'm not even getting into whether he starts over Bruno or somebody like that. Not having it. I think it probably would be the best if he did move on. I probably wouldn't have too much of a drama with him if he was like, yeah, do you know what? I know I'm a squad player and I could probably just stick around here and fill in and be useful every now and then. But even that, I think it's come to a stage with some United fans where that's just not even going to be an option for him. So there you go. Jesse seems like one of the dressing room favourites. Yeah, I've got Kira in the comments there saying sell him now. If we sell Jesse, it encourages Gomez to stay. That could be something. The camera keeps focusing on liquor. You're a drunk. That's what it is. Quit it. Kira saying, I think Angel is Gomez. There's been all sorts of talk with Angel, and we're not really hearing a massive deal concrete. Earlier in the season, I think it was like October, November, there was 2 offers on the table, and one was Barcelona, one was United. That seems now it's like it's probably been retracted somewhat, the Barcelona one. I think the United one is still very much on the table. There was some talk probably a couple of months ago where people around him was saying like he needs to now sign the contract and concentrate on getting back into the plans at United. That seems to have gone away. So, I thought that someone was talking to him about getting that done there, but I guess maybe it's not going to be the case. It's a tough one with him in it because he hasn't had the minutes and he hasn't been given the opportunity. But if you're not signing the contract, I can kind of justify it like that in a way. No ill will towards the lad. He's had a horrible year at home. Best of luck to him wherever he goes, but sentiment only goes too far. He's not good enough to be coasting at United like he is, says Luke. It's probably fair enough. Pogba's fans are like Mourinho fans. They'll be off when he leaves or they'll stay and be negative about anything. Yeah, there's probably something in that. He's only 19, was everyone saying his lack of playing time so seriously with Gomez? Probably because he's not played for so long properly. There's not been, he's had injuries and he had issues around about the time Sancho and Foden went and ripped up the World Cup, the Under-17 World Cup, and Gomez only came on in the final. He's not really played at all since then. He's had some niggling injuries, and then he's also just been left out. He's well too good for the under-23s, and he's not quite ready for the first team on a regular basis yet. Will he go out on loan? Not without signing a contract, he won't. Will he just leave now? Who the fuck? Don't know. Mowada says, Pogba fans, you mean United fans who want the best players in the world at United? Here's the thing, mate. If they're not being productive members of the team and there's this constant circus around them, why are you keeping them? You know, I'd be gutted to see Pogba leave. But the way this has gone on and the way this constantly goes on, like, we do transfer videos on a regular basis. There's always Pogba news. Always. Literally always Pogba news to talk about because there's always someone feeding something to the press. When was the last time you heard a Marcus Rashford transfer rumour? When was the last time you heard even a David De Gea transfer rumour? We knew that he was trying to go, but you haven't heard much in terms of people coming in for him. When was the last time you heard even a Tony Marshall one? You know, I've been saying all season, my gut instinct is that I think he might go, but you don't hear rumours of him, you know, his agent talking in the press. You don't hear nothing like that, you know. So why do we accept it from Pogba? Why do we accept this constant lack of commitment from him? Because it matters. In a changing room, when everybody's pulling in one direction and one person's doing their own thing, or in their head, they're like, I don't really want to be here. When stories are coming out like he's prepared to pay 50, 60 million to get himself out of his contract, does that sound like a player that's committed to the club to you? None of these are World Cup winners with Pogba's profile. So fucking what? Honestly, so fucking what? I don't care that he won the World Cup. We don't play in a World Cup. We play in the Premier League and he ain't fucking won that, has he? Pogba is a fucking top draw player. You're right, probably our best outfield player. But he's inconsistent on the pitch in one. He can win a game for us and then be 6 out of 10 for the next 4 or 5 games. He's not had the impact that Bruno's had. And he's a better player than Bruno. So why is that? And there's certainly not the circus that you've seen around him. The commercial stuff might have got too big. Forget about it. One matter is a World Cup winner too. Correct. Spanish Giants don't want to pay a huge fee for Pogba. They want him a lot cheaper. Yeah, they came in for him in the summer and he would have gone. He would have gone, yeah. He would absolutely have gone, but they offered us fucking peanuts for him. Thoughts on Mengi? He's a fucking animal. Needs to get rid of Mino if he wants to stay at United. Yeah, and do you think he's going to do that? How did Pogba act when he left Juve? How did Pogba act when he came to United the first time? I think he got sued by... Was it Lens that he came from? I'm sure he got sued by them. Then he fucked about and the way he left United. He obviously left Juventus for a world record fee and came to United. And then he's tried to leave United numerous times since he's been here. What... Apart from the fact that he's a great player, and no one's denying his ability as a footballer, but you're missing the point of how football teams operate. When there's someone that wants something different to the rest of the group can't progress because they've got someone slowing them down. Lav, that was it. Attitude is the difference, says P Savage. Harry says, do I think on the striker front we might be playing Tony until Mason fills out? I think that's 4 or 5 years away, so probably not. Minimum acceptable amount for Pogba. What we paid for him. What we paid for him easily. My thoughts on the Aubameyang and De Ligt transfer rumours. The De Ligt one's absolutely bollocks. The Aubameyang one, there might be something in that, to be honest, but I'm not sure that he is the sort of style of forward that I think we're going to go for. Rather have 11 players on the pitch that die for the team than Paul Pogba, who's only in it for what's going well for him, says Noah. Yeah, it becomes the Paul Pogba show. Too many times you see him trying to do stuff that are going to get flipped up. When he plays and keeps it simple, which he did in the World Cup, which he's done in several games since, but it's not his go-to, he looks sensational. Here's the difference, right? On his day, Paul Pogba is the best midfielder in the Premier League, bar none, right? He can put in a 10 out of 10 performance. Kevin De Bruyne probably puts in 8.5 to 9 out of 10 performances 10 times a season. The average performance from Kevin De Bruyne is higher than the average performance that you get out of Paul Pogba. Because in between those rare 10s, you're getting 6s and 7s from him. And that's the difference. The consistency is the difference. You don't want a player who's good 1 in 10 games. You want a player that puts out a high level of consistency, and you know what you're going to get, and you can plan around that. Do I think we should have brought him back in the first place? I mean, hindsight's 2020, innit? I was fucking delighted when he signed, but it hasn't worked out, and you can't pretend otherwise. And prolonging it isn't going to help us. I'm almost certain Bruno is the replacement for Paul Pogba. Almost certain. There isn't a United fan that wouldn't trade Pogba for KDB. Says shoot neutrality. United's team chemistry without Pogba is amazing. We need hungry players, not superstars. Yeah, that's something. Have you noticed how good the team chemistry's been these last few months? I think it's been fantastic, hasn't it? Anything on Savic? I haven't heard anything on Savic. Look who plays next to KDB. Of course, who plays alongside a player matters. But the individual's performance. Look at the individual's performance. You can't take the complete team around him. Yes, there's runners. There's runners at United. And sometimes he finds them. I'm not sitting here telling you Pogba shit. I'm telling you that the average of KDB is higher what you get out of Pogba. There's no reason for that. Maddison, here's my thoughts on Maddison. I'm pretty sure Maddison is on a list that Grealish is on. And I think United have probably only got a set amount of money, and let's be honest, that could easily change this lockdown / transfer window / close season / end of the season. And that might fluctuate. I'm pretty sure Maddison's going to cost you twice what Grealish would. And I don't think we can afford that. So I think that you go, let's just go with Grealish instead. Even if we sell Pogba, we'd need centre midfield replacements, right? I think we've already replaced Pogba, but I don't think we've replaced Herrera. And I keep mentioning Sal Niguez. I think that's probably a pipe dream. I think he'd probably cost us too much. That's the sort of player that I would like for us to go for. Kira says, I think United need 2 centre mids and a right winger. Not considering Pogba leaving, how many will we get? I think you might get 1. Depends on the 2. Like Grealish and Sal gives you a bit of balance, I think. And then Sancho for the right wing. I think that puts in a right tasty team. It depends on how we're looking to play. It really does. Need more than 1 replacement for Pogba. Very possible. Tom Scott has dropped in a super chat of a diver, and he says, just a quick donation to help you lads out. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. And like I said, if you do want to help out the channel, the Patreon link in the description. You'll get extra content, you get a little group for everybody, you get some inside info on transfers as and when we get it, and you get the first bits of news. Like we had some good news for Stretford Paddock FC yesterday. Lads have found out about that. We're testing out the Sat Cam t-shirt. We've got a design for that. That's all gone into the Facebook group. So if you want to get all that sort of stuff, then blast it all in and have a look. But just click on the link and see what you think. Make your own mind up. Is all I will say on that front. Today I've been doing a lot of studying and been writing out the principles of play for how Stretford Paddock are going to play. We are going to play a 4-3-3. Our plan A, you would say, looks closer to what Pep plays than maybe what United or Liverpool play. But I have found some really interesting analysis on the differences between Liverpool's and City's, and I found it absolutely fucking fascinating. I'm going to be honest with you. And I actually do prefer, although obviously it's not been as successful this season for him, but I actually do prefer the way Pep operates the 4-3-3 versus the way Klopp does it. But I found that really interesting, and you'll be seeing that soon. And yeah, let us know, 500 likes if you want me to do a 5 books to read during lockdown. Jadon Sancho, such fancy and very wow, says Harold. Cheers. Kane isn't going to fit our team. I think there's something in United wanting Kane from a board level, but the fact that they said that he wasn't on the list when we initially give it in, I think that's just not fucking going on. 5 in the morning in Australia. Good morning over there. Any space in the squads for more? Oliver, aren't you like 14? Not 14-year-olds, there isn't. Without Pogba, United without Pogba look like a team who's won 11 games in a row with 9 clean sheets. I mean, are you having that or what? Salah's an 8, not a 6. That's fine, but I think he's got the second highest amount of tackles in La Liga. He can do the role. I certainly think he could play in a pair of 6s. And I also think he could play a 6 in an 8 with 2 more slightly attacking midfielders, depending on the team that you're going to play against or how you set that team up. But I definitely think he could do that job. He's excellent. 3:30 here in Malaysia. Oh, it's early. Is that night or morning still? Have you stayed up or have you got up? Grealish to replace Lingard and Pereira. That's an upgrade. Levy will want 200 for Kane, very possibly. Carfix in here. Paddock FC title party plans. Let's not get carried away just yet. Is that defensive midfielder McTominay? It could be. McTominay's grown so much in the last year. He might be the next 5 things that we do, or it might be a Gallo. Let me know in the comments who do you think it might be. What would we do about the goalkeeper situation? I don't think you're going to get rid of De Gea. I think that decision's already been made for you on that front. I've stayed up all night and it's 7 a.m. in New Zealand. Jesus. Happy with just Sancho. The summer, says Scott. I think we need a bit more to that. Who loses out? Fred or McTominay? I don't necessarily think either of them miss out. I really don't. I think there's a room for the right midfield key for the right job. And playing against Liverpool, you play a different midfield than you would play against Norwich. And I think that we would have to get used to that. The day of starting a starting 11 that just does it all, I think of well gone. Party or NDD, I'll take the one you don't want out of them two. Both fucking belting. Can we drink beer on the terrace at Paddock? I think it'll be encouraged. Or should we fucking tell yous? I don't know if we should tell yous. We've secured a stadium for Paddock FC. Maybe I won't tell you where just yet. Maybe I'll tell you though when Paddock FC does join the Manchester League, of which we are in the process of applying. If we get accepted, we will have our stadium. We are trying to work out if we can effectively stream the matches. We are obviously manpower heavy, resource heavy, all the rest of it. But all of that sort of stuff is happening. So keep an eye out for what's going on with Stretford Paddock FC. It's all going down quite well. Give us a clue. It is in the Greater Manchester area. How about that? Got a capacity somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000. Some seats. Covered all the way around. Grass. Home and away changing room and a bar. And it's going to be alright fucking good. Is that the one in the Patreon group? Yes, it is. 500 likes done. Right, okay then. So we are going to be doing a 5 books to read during lockdown. Recap the Sancho news, says Diego. Okay, sounds like a plan. So the Sun have gone with Sancho being excited by the prospect of joining United. And not concerned about having to possibly wait for trophy success. Don't know about possibly. We could have won 2 this season. Sport have gone really deep on it, and they're saying that United have reached an agreement to sign Jadon Sancho. Doesn't actually mention with the player or with the club. And they're saying an official announcement's not expected anytime soon. Should the reports be accurate? So I don't know what that's all about. The Daily Mirror are saying Liverpool have pulled out of the race, and I do think that's quite a key one. And it says United and Chelsea are the only 2 left in, and I don't think Chelsea are a feasible option for him at this stage. And then German journalist Raphael Honigstein said United can't promise titles to him, but they can promise him to be a leading star in a new team that's emerging. From what I've been told, that's quite appealing to him. Stack that up with some of the stuff that we've put in the Patreon group and all the rest of that sort of stuff. There's a lot really building towards this deal really happening. And as I've been fairly confident on Sancho for a while, you know, the Champions League stuff was not an issue last summer. I don't know where that came from, but it's not well sourced. The issue last summer was the fee that Dortmund wanted and United weren't keen on paying. So that's what I think held the deal up last summer. I think if United are prepared to pay, I think that it'll happen. What I think about the Kyle Walker situation. Well, if you thought it couldn't get any worse PR than what City have had recently, well, you're fucking wrong. Salford Ground, it is not the Salford Ground. What type of player is Milinkovic-Savic? I think he's quite an aggressive number 8. He's quite good going forward. I like him. He's a physical beast. When will I tell the $5? Well, I'll have to do a bit of research on it and figure out which ones would be the most interesting to tell everyone. Of course, Soccernomics is in there. You better believe it. What's happened to Kyle Walker? Well, let Google be your friend. I'm going to leave it on there. Check out the Patreon group. We need to get to 1,500 to make sure that we've got enough to be able to keep going all the way through this lockdown. There's been tons of people that have dived in. Very much appreciated. It's not Leigh Sports Village. That's not even in Greater Manchester either. So it's definitely not Leigh. I fucking hate going there for the academy games. I'm not going there out of choice for Paddock. Fuck that noise. But anyway, check out the link in the description for it. And make sure to subscribe if you're new. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. But cheers for joining us. See you in a bit.